Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here and to be able to share. And it is time for us to launch the next set of tea. And I have to say that I never imagined across my whole career what I would be able to do. Hold on for a second. To be able to share. There we go. A little bit of backlog in there. All right. So when I started looking at teas at the very beginning, it was because my daughter Michaeli was interested in tea and she thought maybe that would be something she'd like to know more about. And so she took a tea sommelier course, which I helped her with her final exam. And in that process, I realized how exciting it was, all of the things that you could do with tea. I had no idea because you just buy your tea and you just make a cup of tea and you just drink it. But that's not the case. And then the company, the Cape Breton Tea Company, was known as Intend to Radiate originally back in 2015. And my business partner at that time, Natasha Polomsky, we brought together 14 tea blends to help support Chinese medicine concepts through Western herbs and tea. And that was inspired by Evelyn Mulders of Sound Essence. And her work was to identify what were the Western herbs in relation to the Eastern medicine philosophies. And with the process of learning and growing with that information, we added intentions to the tea, we looked at color, we looked at frequency, we looked at the messages of the herbs. And the company had a book that was published called Teas with Intention, and that opportunity brought us forward for almost 8 years, and actually right through the pandemic. I'm just going to send a wave to Michaeli because she's coming from her office. And so the teas had a real life of their own, but they were really focused on the Chinese medicine. And then 2 years ago, Natasha and I had a conversation. We thought maybe we'll just close down that company and maybe let the tea go. And that wasn't to be. Instead, we came up with a new name, Cape Breton Tea Company, and decided that we would just redirect our focus a little bit into more ways to use tea for well-being. Natasha and I have had many projects together, and a year and a half ago, I took over the company, and in that process, I went back to names that were about the area of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, focusing on the flavors we have here, and then starting to educate people about what herbs can do, how they can support you, and how using an intention can really make a difference. And I'm so excited to be able to bring all of these concepts together for people, because as they get to know more about the herbs, the way that herbs want to be heard, not how they want to be used as medicine, but they want to be heard and they want to be able to be a part of our lives and to help lift us up. So when we start to look at tea in that capacity, it completely changes how you prepare your day, how you include tea in the day, and then what you can do with it. So we have lots of tea blends that you can see in the shop at capebretontea.ca. When you see those teas, they're identified as green or herbal, black tea, and that's lovely. But what you're really looking for is the intention on the package. What does this particular blend do to help you with your goals and to help lift you up? And how can it support you in the day? And our combinations are very complex recipes, so they're not just 1 or 2 herbs that we put together. They're really selected for a very specific purpose and how they come together and how they pattern together. So I wanted to explain that because I've also had the privilege of some amazing businesses who've come forward and said, would you please create a tea blend for our company? And that is a lot of fun because you're looking at the personality of the company, the people involved, the objective that they have, who they want to reach for their audience, what kind of customers might they be bringing to what they're doing. And so I wanted to share a little bit of that background because we've had some really, really good times. So the Little Flower Shop, which is over on the other side of Cape Breton Island, has a fantastic lavender black tea. And that's been their focus. And then we have down in just outside of Craignish, we have the Studio Store, and Peggy has two blends in there. One is a black tea and one is an herbal tea. It's made with rooibos. And that one was focused around her parents and honoring them. And so it has a strawberry base to it, but in a black tea for the traditional drinkers, and then in rooibos for those people who like an herbal. And then if we travel up Route 19 to Inverness, in Inverness, we have Quincy's Street Market. And at Quincy's, they wanted a tea blend that could be combined with some fancy beverages for entertaining and doing some party activities. So we created a toffee blend for them. And I was just so delighted. The toffee is just so beautiful. So those key pieces also brought in with weddings. We've had birthday parties. We've had bridal showers. We've had all kinds of ways to interact. And coming up is my niece's wedding out in West Kelowna, BC. And she's taken the Mission for Change Community Tea, which is a fundraising tea we have for a beautiful family in Malawi, the Moyo family. And they've been really brought in as a big part of our family. And so Jessica asked if that was possible to have their tea blend and bring them into the wedding. So as I was preparing that tea, her colors for the wedding are blue. And so I thought, oh, no problem. I'll just turn that tea blue. And being a tea artist, you know, that shouldn't be too hard. Well, we've had a lot of fun with that tea because it came out purple, it came out blue, it came out gray, it came out different ways. But there is a tea blend now ready for her wedding, which has a blue tinge to it, and is a lovely, lovely tea, but represents the Mission for Change and the fundraising that we want to do to help support that family and the community that they live in Malawi. All right, so that brings us to why are you here today? Well, I was asked by one of our ambassadors for both Cape Breton and Nova Scotia, Natalie MacMaster, if it would be possible for her to have a tea blend and one that maybe could go on the road with her and what would represent who she is and what she does. So I called my daughter, Michaela, and I said, would you please come up for the weekend? Let's look at this. Let's see what we can do with the tea blends and see what we could produce. And the two of us sat here all weekend. We talked, we went through the music, we went through the ideas. We've known Natalie for a very long time, since she was back starting some of her first touring pieces. We hosted her in Cochrane, Alberta in 1998. And then from there, we danced on stage with her. We have been involved with, she's had my children's books and CD for her children. And we've come in and out of each other's lives in different ways. So we started to talk about those experiences and her music and what the music has meant to us, what the music means to her audience. And we decided that it couldn't be one tea blend, it needed to be a 3-part set. And so if it's a 3-part set, what would that be? A Cape Breton figure. We could have 2 jigs and a reel, so we kind of looked at that. And then we looked at how could we bring that set together. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here. I've got some more people to wave at. Hello, Tracy. Look at this. This is lovely. Thank you for joining in and being a part of this. Okay, so I also have this wonderful friend who has supported me through this whole process, helping me with recipes, bagging, etc. And Ruth provided me with some special ways to package what we're doing. And so this says on the front here, let's bring it a little bit closer. Maybe you can see it. It's got a picture of Mabu. This is one that is in the stores. So if the stores are selling the Cape Breton Tea Company tea, they have this in the window. It says sip the taste of Cape Breton. And then it is sold here, is what it usually says on the window decal. So what I have in here then is what Michaela and I created. So I'm just going to unwrap this. So much fun to be able to do this. All right, and I'm going to bring it out here. Now, one of the first things I want to share with you is this little piece here. There we go. Okay, now you can see it. that says musically infused. And so what I'm just going to go and wave. Thank you for being here. All right. The tea is musically infused. And this is something that Natalie was inspired by when she was first introduced to the tea company, in that I had her daughter, Mary Frances, and Joe MacMaster, her nephew. They were playing in Craignish Hall, and I had taken some tea, put it backstage just to get it infused with the liveliness of the gathering and the dancers. And then afterwards, I thanked them and gave them a sticker that said they were a music infusion tea artist. And that led to a conversation about what is that and how can we do more of that? All right, so here's what you're waiting for. So I'm just going to pull back the paper. All right, and we have the 3 tea blends created. So we have our black tea is Fit as a Fiddle. Let me see if I can get that without the sun rays on it. So Fit as a Fiddle, that's our black tea. Then we have a green tea. This is, see if I can get it in there, Kitchen Party. And the third one, because Natalie loves herbal tea, this is really inspired by the way she loves to drink tea. This one is called, let me see if I can get it in there, the Autograph. All right. So with this, I'm going to give you a little background of these teas. All right. So Fit as a Fiddle. This one is, oh my goodness, so many people to wave at. I love it. Oh, Karen, I see you on there from Runway Pub and Grocery at the Sydney Airport, where you can get tea, whether you're taking off on a plane or landing. You can stop in at her store, which is fantastic. Thanks for being here, Karen. All right, so Fit as a Fiddle. This is a black tea. Now, most people here in Cape Breton, they really enjoy the Orange Pekoe, and usually it's made really, really strong, and the tea bag can be left in the pot, and people are used to that, so they usually add a little bit of milk, a little bit of sugar, and that's the way they drink it. But I wanted to start to highlight the real value and the flavor that comes out of the black tea. And when you don't leave it to go bitter, there is this layering of flavor that comes out of the Orange Pekoe. And I didn't even know that that was possible until I started playing around. So you boil the water, you make your black tea, then you infuse it for however strong you want your tea. So some people want it strong, so you leave it in longer. They should do about 3 minutes. And then I pull the tea out. And then that stops it from going bitter. The next part is we added to it apple, hibiscus, rosehip, lemon, strawberry leaves, honeybush, lavender, chamomile, rose, and cornflower petals. Now the reason for that is, if you think of, lots of people will say they'll drink a red rose tea. Rose is really important. The rose is your compassion, your love, your power for living, making sure everything's lively. And so I wanted a little bit of that to be in there. And then all of the other herbs, I'll say herbs, apples in there too, they all kind of build a bouquet around the black tea. So depending on how strong you want to make it, you might get more of a floral, or you might get more of that black tea. It's up to you what you want to do with it. You can add milk and sugar if you want, but I would say try the tea first, get to know the layers and the flavors, and then decide if you want to add anything extra. Okay, so what I want to share with you is, of course, I'm a tea artist. So that means I'm really looking at how does it smell? What is its flavor? What are the colors? So I started serving tea in a wine glass because it's way more fun. And you can have this anywhere and people go, what are you drinking? And then you say, I'm drinking a tea. Now it'll be hot when you start, but you hold on to the stem. But then when it starts to cool, so this is just a lukewarm right now, I can hold the color, which is wonderful. So I'm holding this beautiful amber, and it just feels so lovely to hold. All right, this is the color that happens for Fit as a Fiddle. And I'm just going to smell just so I can smell the orange pekoe, but then I get this little hint of the herbs, and it's more of the lavender kind of comes up a little bit, but it really is quite nice. Now, when you do that, you actually bypass the nervous system and you go back to the center in the brain for calming. So just by taking that moment, I can actually calm my whole system. It's really cool. I'm going to have a sip. And I'm going to say cheers. So fantastic to be sharing this tea blend. That was really, I'm always surprised. It was really lovely. It's in a lukewarm rather than hot. And the flavors all change as the temperature changes. So that's also something really exciting to think about, because you can start to play with the teas to offer something different at the dinner table. Okay, so I'm going to add this back up here. And let's have a little bit of fun from there with kitchen party. So now Michaeli's going to be laughing here, because when we went to make this one, we wanted a green tea. We wanted something for those people that were real herbal drinkers who wanted to go for the high antioxidants. They didn't drink black tea, but they really wanted to have that quality. So we went with a green tea. This one has rosehip, blue pea flower, blue cornflower, hibiscus, honeybush, hawthorn fruit, rose petals. Okay, and I didn't read the intention on the last package, but I'll read it here. Kitchen party is lift your spirits by connecting music and friends in celebration. Now, on Cape Breton Island, a kitchen party is where the musicians come together, the neighbors all gather, food comes out of the cupboards, and it's a night of celebrating, but it's a chance to just explore music, dancing, having fun, and just play and see what happens. So this tea did that for us, because we made the first batch. We got this fantastic purple, and it was a rich ruby kind of color, and it was awesome. So we were like, this is great, let's make a second batch just to make sure it's going to turn out again the same way. And we made the second batch, and it was gray. It was just the saddest looking little color. And we thought, oh my gosh, what have we done? So we went back to the recipe, we played around a little bit more, got this bright purple again. We're like, okay, what's going to happen with that? So the next morning, we went back to it. And even though it was bright purple the night before, now we got a blue. So we talked about it a little bit. What are we going to do with this tea? We have to have it consistent if it's going into the package. And we decided it was a mood tea. And as I've worked with it, it actually is a mood tea. So we can have different colors happen, because even you can have the tea at the beginning, it's one color, and by the time you finish drinking it, it's already transformed to another color, which is really kind of cool. So I'm going to bring out what it is. Okay, now this is funny. Okay, now it's going to depend on the light what color you're going to see. I think you can catch the purple in there. All right, and it was a brighter purple when I first started when it was hot, and now it's kind of muting to a plum kind of purple. So it's changed again already. So we have on the back of the package an actual scale. So if you wanted to play at a party, you could say, let's see where you are on the mood scale. And on the mood scale, then it would be if you had like that gray color show up. Well, then we said it was going to be a low-key party. Then as you come up, it might go into the blues, it's the purples. You could go from low key into joy. But then if you get this nice, bright purple, now you're looking at a gorger. And depending on what you want to do with this, you can dress it up with fruit. You can dress it up with fancy things around the glass, the way that you do the glass. And again, I put it in stemware because I can hold on to the color, and also I can just connect with the tea in a better way. So this one, you smell more of the hibiscus and the pea flower in it. So you get more of that. And I get a little tiny bit of green, but not a lot. And that was the goal. So it doesn't taste like a green tea where you just have to go, I drink green tea. But you get the value of the green tea, but you get this lovely flavor. So here we go. Beautiful. And thank you. Holistic Wellness Era commented about loving the intentions. The intentions are really important, because if you sit and think about where do you want to go, what do you want to be doing, and you take that intention off the package, and then I'll be explaining more about the different herbs as we go along. But if you take that, you have the chance to transform how your day goes, how your ambitions towards your goal becomes effortless, and actually the accomplishment of the goals where they might have eluded you before. Okay, so cheers. That's kitchen party. Okay, so let's go to the last tea. This one is a hidden gem. This one is called the autograph. Now this one, the intention, I'll give you it first. Each of us has unique gifts for others to treasure. Create your special signature for others to be inspired. And when we were thinking about Natalie, and we were thinking about all the activities we've done over the years that have weaved in and out of her life and our lives, there are a lot of gifts that came from her music. We did a lot of performances. We competed in a lot of competitions. We toured over in Scotland. We had a lot of fun because of the music that she was creating and the way that we could perform with it. And then we also have the gifts of what she's continued to provide in her music over the years, and now the addition of her family and touring with a whole family. I mean, it's just such an amazing opportunity. And we wanted to bring that forward, but we also wanted to highlight for you, the drinker, how the tea is going to be able to find your special gift and help you to identify it and then move forward with it. So the ingredients in here, first is peppermint. Peppermint because that's one of Natalie's favorites. Then we have ginkgo leaves, apple, orange, turmeric, lemon, and pumpkin pieces. Hibiscus, rosehip, strawberry leaves, chamomile, cornflower, safflower, and rose petals. There's rose petals in each of the blends because we wanted to bring that love and compassion in for everything that both Natalie does and what you are doing and offering. Okay, so the autograph, this is beautiful. We've had it as a light pink, but today it decided to do something slightly different. So it also has its own mood. Look at the color of this today. Is this not the most incredible, rich color? I just love it. So the autograph is a great herbal tea to help clear the mind, bring in focus, find your heart center, and then being able to find your voice. Okay, so I'm going to wave at the next person here. Just a second. There we go. Thank you. All right. Glad to have you all here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sip with the autograph, and I'm going to just bring recognition to who you are, the gifts you bring to the world. Thank you for being here. This one is almost today. It's the strawberry that's coming through. I'm trying to think what else is in here that. Oh, the peppermint is there, but there's this strawberry piece that's really jumping out today. Okay, so cheers. Oh my gosh. Oh, beautiful. Now this one would be fantastic if you wanted to bake ice cubes with it and then put it in your water bottle. So you would get the hint of the flavors if you wanted, if you just wanted to be more on the water side. Otherwise, just fill your water bottle with it. That would be another great choice. Okay, I'm just loving the color on there. So you can see how we can really have a lot of fun and change the way that we can enjoy playing and being interactive with tea. So I want to give you the affirmation for Fit as a Fiddle, because I did miss that when I first started in. So this one is heart-centered living flourishes when open to your true passions in life. And I wanted to also draw attention to the idea of the fiddle, because the fiddle comes from trees, and the wood, it had a life before it became a fiddle, but it also has the power of that wood behind it. And when you then go to think about the tea and you think about what gifts do you have or what pieces do you interact with, maybe it's dance shoes, maybe it's sporting equipment, maybe it's a horse that you ride, whatever it is that you interact with, thinking about then what it brings forward to the table and how it helps you shine and show off more of who you are. And as Natalie stands on the stage holding onto her fiddle and bow, and she looks out at her audience and she sees the people that she so loves to entertain for, she's holding on to history, she's holding on to the power of the wood in that fiddle, and she's holding on to the history of the music that is going to come through that fiddle. There's a lot of power within that music, and it is just so delightful to think about all that can come together to make a show really happen and to be strong. So as you're thinking about how you might want to interact with tea and herbs, perhaps now's the time for you to think about how could these 3 teas interact in your day, help you achieve your goals, provide you with some herbal feedback of nurturing and lifting up, and how could the way that we are packaging and talking about these intentions, how could they become a way of life for you and a way to really help you move forward? All right, so that is the launch today. You can currently find the tea in several locations on Cape Breton Island. There are the stores that are listed. If you go to capebretontea.ca, you're going to find the tab that tells you more about the company. And there'll be a little tab that says links. And in the links, it tells you what stores carry the Cape Breton Tea Company tea. Now, not all of the stores are carrying Natalie's teas yet. So what you want to do is you can always send a message and say, hey, are you carrying the tea? Because I'm going to stop by. Or stop in, find out what teas they're carrying. And if they've got Natalie's, you can pick them up. And if there's something else from the company that you're interested in, please pick it up. Thinking about who you can share tea with, how you can create conversations, how you can bring it into the workplace, how you can start to think towards the holidays that are coming, the celebrations you're going to have, how you could use the tea, and then of course you've got gift giving. So take advantage of what the stores have in Cape Breton and be able to have that go out. On the website, we will have the tea available at the end of the month to purchase online. So for right now, it's exclusive only in the stores on Cape Breton Island. And you'll have to wait then to order online, but by the end of the month, you'll be able to do that. And then stay tuned because Natalie hasn't released the tea yet to her audience, and her audience will have their surprise. So thank you so much for being here. Please spread the word. Help us get the word out about this particular tea set, but also about how the Cape Breton Tea Company is there to support your wellness and help move you forward in life. And I wish you the very best as you choose your next cup of tea. Please make it a Cape Breton Tea Company tea blend. If you haven't been to Toast and Tea on Tuesdays at the Hillsborough Hall, I will have tea on tap on Tuesday, and likely you'll find one of these blends sitting in the pot when you get there. All right, thank you for being there. And again, to the stores that are holding on to the tea and being the exclusive for the next couple of weeks, thank you so much for putting it on your shelves and for inviting your audiences in to engage with in Natalie MacMaster's set. Take care.